Hari Om to all the Atma Jyotis present. We are Anita and Aditi, and we are going to present Shloka 2.69. We'll first chant the Shloka.
Om Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyam Jagati Samyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe.
What all things day is the night of and what all things see as night is the day introspective.
Anita, your voice is not audible.
What all beings, Uncle, can you hear me now?
Yes.
What all beings consider as day is the night of ignorance for the wise, and what all creatures see as night is the day for the introspective sage.
This is the word-to-word meaning of the shloka. Ya, which, Nisha, meaning night, Sarva Bhutanam, of all living beings, Tasyam, in that, Jagarti, awake, Samyami,
Jagrati. Okay, sorry, you are right. Jagarti, correct.
Samyami, self-controlled, Yasyam, in which, Jagrati, awake, Bhutani, creatures, Sa, that, Nisha, night, Pashyataha, see, Munehe, sage. Day to all other beings is considered as night by the enlightened sages, while night, as seen by other beings, is seen as day by the sages.
I'm not entirely sure of the meaning of this shloka, but what I understood is that night and day are used like metaphors. It's figuratively speaking about happiness and probably grief and sadness and other emotions, negative emotions like that. So to people, what seems like day, that is all thing. A lot of people this generation think that happiness is from being rich or having a certain object with you and multiple things like that. So that I think is what is referred to as they. And people who are aware of who they actually are and are aware of all the truths of their existence, they see it as night, which is ignorance, and night, which is not having a certain object or not being rich, and you consider yourself unhappy because of all of that, which is what we see as night, is probably seen as day by all the enlightened beings.
Excellent. Excellent. Do others agree with what Anita has said?
Yeah.
Okay. So they seem to be agreeing. So let's also listen to Aditi and then we will probe you further.
Uncle, the way I understood is also very similar. So I'm giving an example of a business. So when your business is going very well, when everything is happening just the way you have planned it, we see it as happiness and like days when everything is just the way we want it to be.
Can you come closer to your mic?
So Auntie, Uncle, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We see this as happiness, or in this shloka, it's given as day. But I think how it is explained, the sages view this point as night, like Anita said, ignorance to it. And like in case our business goes downwards and like nothing is going the way you want it to, or you're very upset with it, then we see it as darkness or night. But I think the sages, like the people who have really understood the meaning of everything, see this time as day, or time when you can actually realize or understand from your mistakes, and then you have an opportunity to like come back much better next time.
Excellent. So both of you have said it so well. Very nice. But any questions to them, Anita and Aditi, by Namit and Aditya? What kind of questions can you ask them?
If the business is if the business is going down for somebody, how does it like makes how does it makes the sages happy, and it's like morning for them.
I'm not saying necessarily happy, but in terms of that, it is morning. It's a time for you to be able to understand what went wrong and why it went wrong. So you're able to understand and realize from that what you can do better next time. So if everything is already going very well, you're not trying or working hard to make yourself better or see what you could have done better. But only when something goes wrong do you try and think of that. So that's it.
Okay.
And uncle, to add to what Aditi was saying, I think a lot of people today have this confidence, and they think that they know everything and there's nothing more to learn after a certain point. But I think the day here that people who are enlightened, the day that they see, that can also refer to as time to learn, because even though they are probably the most intelligent people on earth, they still think that there is a lot more for them to learn, and they're always ready to learn at any chance that they get. So
Wonderful. Excellent. Excellent. What questions Aditya will ask Anita Aditi?
So I think like same question as Namit, how can you use this in your life?
Yeah, phrase the question, ask them.
Yeah, how can you use this on a day-to-day basis?
I think this is related to the shloka we were contemplating previously, talking about attachment and all of that. I think it's best not to get attached to anything. See, it's okay for you to be slightly affected by, for example, business here. If your business is not doing well, it's okay to feel bad about it. But I think you should always be open to and ready to learn more, and to realize that the world is not going to end, and your personal peace and happiness does not depend on your business. So yeah, I think.
Yeah. So basically you're saying like not to be too affected by materialistic things.
Yeah.
Right.
Uncle, I think another way in which we can use this in our life is when something wrong happens, we always think of it as a huge problem because we know that that is not the way we had planned it. So instead of thinking of it that way, we can think of it positively. So that changes the whole perspective, right? So when we think of something positively and think that now is the time that we can learn and make ourselves better, that problem won't affect you as much.
Is this
Yeah.
acceptable to you?
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. So, how did it occur to you, the metaphor that, it may not be day and night? How did you come to that kind of understanding?
Uncle, I spent a lot of time thinking about this shloka. So I read a lot of stories and poems, and I know some of the most basic metaphors and figurative speech that is used, and I just thought that over here literal day and night does not make sense at all. So I just thought maybe it has something to do with emotions and all of that.
Excellent. How about Aditi? How did Aditi come to that clarity?
Uncle, obviously day and night figuratively it cannot mean anything. So the way I thought it was the previous shlokas that we have contemplated on, it's like they're all very connected. They all mean some, like they're all trying to give the same meaning. So I was just trying to think of how in our daily lives, because that's the message that is sort of being given in our daily life, how these words can be suited, like what reference we can make to it. That's how I came to the conclusion.
Wonderful. Very nice. Very nice. Very good. Any other questions to Anita Aditi by Namit or Aditya? No? Okay. All right. Then let's all clap for them. Wonderful. We'll pause this.
Uncle, we can.
So, Hari Om, my name is Aditya. So, what I understood from the shloka was that basically, and everything we see around us has a certain perspective. So, for example, if you look at the picture on the screen, the person to the left looks at it as 6, and the person to the right looks at as 9. So basically, this shows us that whatever we see around us depends on our perspective. But a person who truly understands this knows that it's not 9 or 6, but rather that it's just a shape. So that's what the shloka means by day and night. So day can be 6 and night can be 9, and that's what we misunderstand things as, that we give them a certain form, day and night. But when we really understand that it's neither day or night, nor is it 6 or 9, we know that it's just what it is, and we are giving meaning to it. So basically, the shloka says that everything depends on our perspective and how we look at it. That's what I understood. Yeah.
Very nice. Questions for him? Do you accept what he said as an interpretation for this?
So when we come to you said we can come to the conclusion that this is just a shape. So if you're in a real situation, how can you do that?
Yeah, in a real situation, obviously to function, we would have to give it a certain form, but we won't be stuck up in that argument that no, it's 6, no, it's 9. We'll know that it's not neither of these, and we'll accept it, and we can have less argument. That's what the point is. So obviously to function, we would have to give it a certain form. There's nothing wrong in that.
Acceptable? How about Anita? Any question? No question. And the interpretation is accepted. All right. Wonderful. How would you apply all this, Aditya?
Yeah, so like let's say I have a certain opinion on a topic. I won't take my opinion as the final word. I'll always be I'll always have room for opinion, and not always be stuck to my own thing, because at the end of the day, everyone have different opinions, and no particular person is right.
But still, when somebody fiercely opposes your opinion, there can be tendency to respond in an angry mode, right?
Yeah, because you get defensive of your opinion and you think it's right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
basically.
then is it okay for such a defensive feeling to come, and it's not okay?
It's okay to defend your opinion and justify it, but it's wrong when you get like angry, or when you get annoyed at the person while you're defending your opinion.
But that feeling of anger comes, no, that emotion comes.
Yeah,
right? So
that is wrong.
Then how do you avoid it? Is it possible to avoid it?
It is possible by understanding that you're not trying to justify or make your thing right. You're just trying to learn more. When you understand that there is no reason for you to be angry.
When you understand it, then there cannot be anger.
Yeah, you're seeing, so when you look at it that you're trying to learn something rather than tell the other person you're right, that's when you don't get angry.
Yeah, Anita, you was sorry, Aditi, you're going to say something.
Yes, uncle, similar to what he said. So like when someone opposes you, you're just trying to understand why they did that, and you're trying to know more about why they're opposing that.
Okay. So having the clarity that you don't have a position, one fixed position, but is it then even possible to function if you don't have a position? For example, let's assume you are a soldier. You have a position that this is my border and I need to guard here. And if somebody comes, I need to shoot at them. So if you don't have a position, it's just a land. Anyway, this land and that land, there is no real difference, right? It's a continuous landmass. Somebody has put a line. then there is no need to defend, right?
Uncle, it's okay for you to stick to your opinion and stand for it, because in your perspective you think that is right. But instead, like when someone opposes it, it is to make sure that we don't simply get angry or fight against them, but try to understand why they are telling you that, and then come to a conclusion peacefully.
Okay, but here is an enemy person entering the border. How can you peacefully negotiate? He is carrying a gun and all that rocket things.
Uncle, but in this case, there's no one opposing it, right? Like where you're standing.
In this example, it's okay. But now I'm shifting the example, the border example. Or let's take the Krishna's example, the Kurukshetra war. So how do you deal with that? The perspectives were my land, I am supposed to be the king, I am supposed to be the king, right? Now there's a fighting happening. Krishna is supposed to be realized. So still the fighting is happening. And he stood on one side. Not that he chose, but he happened to be on one side.
At the end of the day, you always have dharma towards something. So you have to stand up for it.
You have to stand up for dharma.
Yeah.
So it is not just about opinion.
Yeah.
In that case, what is the dharma that Krishna was standing up for?
That rightfully the kingdom was deserved to the Pandavas and not the Kurus.
But how does it matter? Nowhere it is said that Duryodhana was a bad king, right? It's not that he went on torturing his people. So why he couldn't have allowed Duryodhana to continue? Yeah.
Uncle, I think Krishna was also thinking as how good a king he is, not necessarily how bad. Because I think personally, Duryodhana is someone who is very much influenced by his personal emotions, and he will do things for the personal gain of himself or the people that he cares about. But whereas, especially Yudhishthira, he first thinks of the people and what is better for them rather than what is better for him. So I think that also made a difference.
Excellent. Very nice. Namit has any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Anyone else? Wonderful. Then shall we conclude? Good, Aditya.